The high point of this story unfolds during the annual harvest festival, where Zola, a thin and delicate girl, faces ridicule from her entire village. Even her twin sister, Mara, joins in the mocking. Heartbroken, Zola runs deep into the forest, where she encounters a wise old woman named Nala, who gives her a magical gift that reveals her true inner strength. As Zola returns to the festival and uses the gift, her presence shines, transforming the way everyone sees her, and the villagers are left in awe of her courage and grace. The sky was painted with a warm golden glow as the sun rose over the small village of Acoma. Nestled between lush, rolling hills and wide fields of maize, Acoma was home to many families. The villagers were close-knit and knew each other's stories. But there was one story that stood out, the story of Zola and her twin sister, Mara. Zola and Mara were identical in many ways. They both had big, curious eyes and smiles that could light up the darkest night. But there was one thing that made Zola different. She was thin and small, even though she ate as much as she could. Her arms and legs were like fragile twigs, and her clothes often hung loosely on her slender frame. In the village, size and strength were seen as signs of beauty and power. Many of the children in Acoma grew up strong, with wide shoulders and sturdy legs from climbing trees and playing games in the fields. Zola, however, was different, and the other children often whispered about her behind her back. One day, the village prepared for the annual harvest festival. The fields were bursting with crops, and everyone was excited. The women wove colorful kente cloths, and the men carved drums from hollowed tree trunks, ready to play music that would echo through the hills. Zola watched as everyone worked, her heart beating with hope. She turned to her twin sister, Mara, who was helping their mother weave a bright, orange and green kente cloth. "Do you think I will look beautiful at the festival?" Zola asked, her voice soft. Mara looked at her and sighed. "Zola, you always look beautiful," she said. But there was a hint of doubt in Mara's voice that Zola couldn't ignore. Zola's eyes fell, and she went to sit by the riverbank, her heart heavy. The day of the harvest festival arrived, and the village was alive with colors and music. The men beat the drums, and the children danced in circles, their laughter ringing through the air. Zola wore a new kente dress that her mother had made for her. It was beautiful, with patterns of gold and crimson, but it only made her look thinner. When Zola stepped into the village square, a hush fell over the crowd. People whispered and pointed. Some of the village boys laughed openly, and even the girls who were friends with Mara began to giggle. "Look at her," one boy shouted. "She looks like a stick wrapped in cloth." Mara was among the girls laughing. Zola's heart broke as she saw her own twin sister hiding a smile behind her hand. Tears filled Zola's eyes, and she ran away from the crowd, her feet carrying her deep into the forest. Zola ran until she could run no more. She sank to the ground, her thin shoulders shaking with sobs. "Why am I different?" she whispered to the trees. "Why can't I be strong like everyone else?" Suddenly, a gentle voice answered, "Because you have a strength that cannot be seen." Startled, Zola looked up to see an old woman with kind eyes and a long, flowing dress made of colorful fabric that shimmered like the river. Her gray hair was wrapped in a headscarf, and she held a wooden staff carved with symbols. "Who are you?" Zola asked, wiping her tears. The old woman smiled. "I am Nala, the wise one of the forest," she said. "Why do you cry, child?" Zola poured out her heart, telling Nala everything. Nala listened carefully, her eyes full of understanding. When Zola finished, the old woman placed a gentle hand on her shoulder. "You are not weak, Zola," Nala said. "Your spirit is strong, and one day, you will see how special you truly are. But first, you must believe in yourself." Zola felt warmth spread through her heart, and for the first time, a spark of hope flickered inside her. "Thank you, Nala," she said, standing up taller. Nala gave her a small pouch filled with glowing dust. This is a gift, Nala said. When you feel the world is too heavy, use this dust. It will remind you of your inner strength. Zola held the pouch close and returned to the village. As she entered the square, the festival was still going strong, but this time, Zola didn't feel small. She walked with her head held high, and though people still stared, she felt braver. When one of the boys tried to make fun of her again, she took a deep breath and sprinkled a bit of the dust. Suddenly, a soft glow surrounded her, and the crowd gasped. Zola's presence seemed to shine, and her thin frame no longer seemed a weakness. She danced, and as she did, the villagers saw not a weak girl, but a graceful spirit moving with the rhythm of the drums. Mara watched in amazement, guilt filling her heart. She realized how wrong she had been to laugh at her sister. Mara pushed through the crowd and ran to Zola, tears in her eyes. "I'm so sorry," Mara whispered. "You are the bravest person I know." Zola smiled and hugged her twin. The villagers cheered, and for the first time, Zola felt truly accepted. But she knew that her real strength came from within. The sun set over a coma, and the drums played on. Zola had found her place, not because she had changed, but because she had embraced who she was. If you enjoyed this story and want to see more captivating tales filled with emotion and adventure, make sure to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more incredible content. Don't forget to turn on the notification bell so you'll be the first to catch our next release. We'd love to hear your thoughts, so drop a comment below about what part of the story moved you the most and share this video with your friends to spread the inspiration. Thank you for watching.